So here we go. So we discussed Project Sky in the previous episode. In this one, what we're going to go ahead and do, and actually we're going to take that down. Probably just have my sweet voice, sweet tunes. I could duplicate it and have the sound going in the background, but I'm speaking now. So this is the other project. The plan is to create one game and the next game and the next game, but each game has a slightly bigger budget. So basically, once we hit the milestone of the first game, we're already starting to save up for the next game, and then the profit once we launch the first game, it can help pay for the second game, and the budgets get bigger and bigger. So this is the second game, and basically, if you want any of these games to exist, feel free to click on the link below and find out more. We're actually starting a crowdfunder where we can fund, instead of funding one game here or there from a studio that you trust, like Larian or some of the other studios. So a lot of them are betraying their gamers, but I think Larian's still pretty good, but that's about the only one. I think the Conan Exiles, I believe that was made with a budget of about $5 million. And then Baldur's Gate probably had a much bigger budget than there's other games like that. But this type of a game, this type of a project, normally would probably have a budget of somewhere around 50 to $100 million. And with our strategies and the four things that we have going for us, we've got these new strategies focusing on gamers, AI technology, and these new things that we're just now starting to use in game development, and then Jarv. That's our fourth special ingredient, and you can find out more about that if you click on the link in the description. But with these four special ingredients, I reckon we can probably knock down the price of a game like this, which would probably cost at least, I don't know, let's just say this one costs maybe like 30 million. I think we can knock this one down to a significantly much smaller price, and it's actually listed in the description. Click on that link. But basically, what we're trying to do here is for the people who are backers, who are founders, who help build the studio with us. You become part of the actual studio in a way. You're not employees or shareholders, but what you are, you're part of the ecosystem. You're part of the community, and you're part of the movement to create better games for gamers by gamers. And you can find out more about that in the link below. But basically, how it works is you get to put your money where your mouth is and get the better games, and you help us in the community with a lot of major decisions, the directions of the game, and what you want out of it. Would you like to have hats in the store? Would you like free hats in the store? I think there's a lot of things to be said, and definitely for this project, this is a vampire western steampunk future sort of current technology, but like a vampire western with some theme punk elements in an alternate universe where there's vampires and they've conquered the whole world, but they're kind of a shadow organization. But they're not just vampires; they're something a little bit worse than vampires. You play in this as an Akin, which is a special kind of individual who's got the blood of an ancient in your veins. And recently, an old vampire has awakened, and he's starting to take over the houses of vampires. And he's called the Great One or the Ancient One. And you're pitted to basically go into these tombs and go looking for things. And you start off the game where you're in a tomb, and you're like rescued or something from inside of the tomb. Uh, Basically something like that. But basically, it's the same as Sky, either a top-down view or a third-person behind-the-shoulder view for this game. Dark looks, a lot of vampires, a lot of monsters, mythical creatures you probably took for granted, but are re-envisioned, and also some new monsters. And basically, it's a story-based game, but just like Sky, we want to have a co-op ability. We care for these two games about them being kind of like a co-op experience. We can play offline, and you can play with your friends, and maybe even play it with your friends offline. But ultimately, to have this experience together, where you unlock some crazy fun, share items, give each other items, maybe buy some cosmetics from the store, We only plan on having like additional content and cosmetics. We don't want to sell any of the XP scrolls, progression throttling, any of the micro trends, like the macro trends, like any of the fucking battle passes or login rewards, and maybe some free shit for sure, but stuff that fits with the theme and for gamers by gamers. So if you're interested in that and you want to learn more, click on the link below. Basically, this project is an old school PC Western steampunk RPG, and I don't know what else to say other than that. But let's go ahead and get the volume off so we can click the play button. And that brings us to the next project. And the next project is basically it's a pretty cool one. Um, and I'd like to first step out real quick into the. Okay, so what we're doing here is we look in this game that we're playing here. We were doing the live stream, and now we're not doing that anymore. Um, One thing I wanted to note about this game doesn't have key bindings, doesn't have the ability to rotate, and I kind of feel like they didn't really take feedback. Let's see if we can alt tab back to this. And so that's what we're basically doing differently. If I can ever get to the other screen, is basically instead of just developing in a vacuum and having testers or just developing a minimal viable product and launching the game, what we're planning to do with our games is to grow a community, and essentially you get to be part of the process of making the game without having to do the work or answer the Q&A tests. You're not an employee, but what you are is part of the movement of BAG. And so if you want to learn more, you click on the link below. Basically, what this next project is it's a really cool, like a dystopian cyberpunk theme. And it's more than just that, though. It's a project that I really think is missing. And I don't think we have a lot of games that are like this. And basically, should we turn the sound back on? Yeah, turn the sound back on.